Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to day 297 of Quran in a Year Plus, where we learn to look at the world and live life according to the lens of the Quran. Today we're going to be looking at verses 71 to 83 of Surah Yasin and verses 1 to 10 of Surah Saffat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون. Do they not see that we have created livestock for them from among what we created, placing these animals under their control so they can own and manage them according to their needs and interests? وَذَلَّلْنَاهَا لَهُمْ فَمِنْهَا رَكُوبُهُمْ وَمِنْهَا يَأْكُلُونَ. We have made these animals submissive and easy for them to use. Some they ride and use to carry their burdens, while from others they eat. وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ وَمَشَارِبُ أَفَلَا يَشْكُرُونَ. They also benefit from these animals in many other ways besides riding them and eating their meat. They make use of their wool, fur, and hair for clothing and furnishings, benefit from their value and trade, and drink their milk. Will they not then be grateful to Allah who has blessed them with these favors and countless others? وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ آلِهَةً لَعَلَّهُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. Yet the polytheists have taken gods besides Allah, hoping that these false gods will help them and save them from Allah's punishment. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. Those false gods cannot help themselves, nor can they help those who worship them. On the day of judgment, both the worshippers and their idols will be brought together for punishment, with each disowning the other. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. So do not let their words grieve you, O Messenger, whether they claim that you are not a messenger, call you a poet, or make any other false accusations. We know everything they conceal and everything they declare openly. Nothing is hidden from us, and we will recompense them for all that they do. أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِن نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. Does a person who denies the resurrection not reflect that we created him from a drop of fluid? He then passed through different stages of development until he was born and raised. Yet he became someone who argues and disputes openly. Should he not reflect on his own creation as proof that resurrection is possible? وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ قَالَ مَنْ يُحْيِي الْعِظَامَ وَهِيَ رَمِيمٌ. The disbeliever fell into ignorance when he used decayed bones as evidence that resurrection is impossible, asking, who can bring these bones back to life after they have crumbled? In making this argument, he forgot his own creation from nothing. قُلْ يُحْيِيهَا الَّذِي أَنشَأَهَا أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ خَلْقٍ عَلِيمٌ. Say, O Muhammad, in response, the one who created these bones the first time will bring them back to life. The one who originated them from nothing is certainly able to restore life to them again. He has complete knowledge of every created thing, and nothing about his creation is hidden from him. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. He is the one who produces fire for you from green, moist trees, from which you kindle flames, the one who brings together two apparent opposites, the moisture of a living tree and the heat of fire, is certainly able to bring the dead back to life. أَوَلَيْسَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِقَادِرٍ عَلَىٰ أَن يَخْلُقَ مِثْلَهُمْ بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. Is not the one who created the heavens and the earth, despite their immense greatness, able to recreate people after they have died? Indeed, he is fully able to do so. He is the supreme creator who brought every creature into existence, and his knowledge encompasses all of them. Nothing escapes his knowledge. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. Allah's command is simply this: whenever He wills something to exist, He says to it, be, and it immediately comes into existence. This includes giving life, causing death, resurrecting creation, and everything else that He wills. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. Exalted and perfect is Allah, far above the inability and imperfections that the polytheists attribute to Him. To Him belongs the complete dominion of everything. He controls all affairs as He wills, and the keys of everything are in His control. To Him alone you will return in the hereafter, where He will judge you and recompense you according to your deeds. The next surah is Surah Saffat, and this is a Meccan surah. And from the objectives of the surah is declaring Allah's exaltedness from what the polytheists ascribe to Him and invalidating their claims regarding the angels and the jinn. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. وَالصَّافَّاتِ صَفًّا. Allah swears by the angels who stand in perfectly ordered rows as they worship Him, lined up in complete obedience and devotion. فَالزَّاجِرَاتِ زَجْرًا. And by the angels who drive the clouds, directing them wherever Allah wills for rain to fall. فَالتَّالِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا. And by the angels who recite the words and remembrance of Allah. إِنَّ إِلَهَكُمْ لَوَاحِدٌ. The one who alone deserves your worship, O people, is one. He has no partner. He is Allah alone. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما ورب المشارق. He is the Lord of the heavens, the earth, and everything between them. He is also the Lord of the sun, and all of its points of sunrise and sunset throughout the year. إنا زينا السماء الدنيا بزينة الكواكب. We adorn the lowest heaven, the one nearest to earth, with beautiful decoration of stars which appear like shining jewels in the sky. وحفظا من كل شيطان مارد. We also made the stars a protection for the lowest heaven against every rebellious devil who refuses to obey Allah, driving them away whenever they attempt to approach. لا يسمعون إلى الملأ الأعلى ويقذفون من كل جانب. These devils are unable to listen to the conversations of the angels in the highest assembly. When Allah reveals matters of His command or decree to them, whenever they try, they are struck and driven away by blazing meteors from every direction. دحورا ولهم عذاب واصب. They are driven away and kept at a distance from the heavens, and in the hereafter they will have a painful punishment that never ends. إلا من خطف الخطفة فأتبعه شهاب ثاقب. Except for a devil who manages to snatch a brief fragment of what the angels are discussing, before being pursued by a blazing meteor that burns him. Sometimes he passes that stolen word to the other devils before he is struck, and it eventually reaches fortune tellers who mix that one truth with 100 lies. As we reflect over today's verses, Allah He says, do they not see that we single-handedly created for them, among other things, cattle which are under their control? Imam al-Baghawi mentions, they are able to control and subdue them. Allah did not create livestock as wild creatures beyond human control, unable to be restrained. Rather, He subjected them to people and made them manageable for them. Again and again, the Quran calls us to look, to notice, to reflect, not just to move through the world using Allah's blessings, but to see the one behind those blessings. And when a person truly sees the blessing, it should move him toward gratitude. Allah, He says, "And for them in these animals are many benefits and drinks. Will they not then be grateful?" Ibn Ashur mentions, following this reminder and mention of Allah's favor comes his statement, "Will they not then be grateful?" This is a question expressing amazement at their failure to repeatedly thank Allah for these numerous blessings. The verb is used in the present tense to indicate renewal and continuity because these blessings are ongoing and recurring at every moment. And Ibn Uthaymeen mentions, this verse indicates the obligation of thanking Allah for these blessings. The evidence for this is that Allah rebuked those who do not give thanks. A rebuke is only directed at someone for committing something prohibited or for abandoning something obligatory. Just as revelation established the obligation of thanking the one who bestows blessings, sound reason also points to it. Every person naturally recognizes that he owes gratitude to whoever has shown him favor in a manner appropriate to the situation. For this reason, the authentic hadith states, "Whoever does a favor for you, repay him. If you cannot find anything with which to repay him, then make dua for him until you feel that you have repaid him." So gratitude is not a small emotional reaction. Gratitude is part of our servitude to Allah. But instead of being grateful to Allah and submitting to Him and recognizing His greatness, they became arrogant and they forgot their own creation. Allah, He says, "Does man not see that we created him from a drop of fluid, yet suddenly he becomes a clear and open disputant?" This is the shocking contrast. The human being begins as a powerless drop. He does not choose his own existence. He does not create himself. He does not sustain himself. Then, after Allah gives him life, strength, speech, intelligence, and ability, he turns around and argues against Allah. Are we really going to take the mind He gave us, the tongue He gave us, and the life He gave us, and use them to resist His guidance? Ibn Uthaymeen mentions, this verse highlights the injustice of man. How can someone who was created from such a humble drop of fluid reach the point where he openly disputes with Allah, the mighty and majestic? When a person reflects on his origin, he should recognize his true place and limitations, not become an opponent of his Lord and argue against Him. And Ibn al-Qayyim says, everyone who opposes revelation with personal opinion and unaided reason is among the opponents of Allah. This is because he has disputed with Allah concerning the revelation that Allah sent down to His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he attempts to invalidate it through his own arguments. It is sufficient humiliation, ignorance, and blindness for a servant that he becomes an adversary to his Lord, blessed and exalted. And this arrogance shows itself when a person begins to question Allah's promise, Allah's command, and Allah's power. The denier of resurrection says, "Who can give life to bones after they have decayed?" But the Quran exposes the contradiction. The very thing he uses to argue against resurrection is actually the proof for resurrection. He himself was brought into existence from nothing. He himself came from lifeless beginning. So how can he deny that Allah can bring life again after death? Then Allah answers with a proof no sincere heart can deny. He says, "Say, the one who brought them into existence the first time will give them life again, and He is knowing of every creation." Ibn Kathir explains that Allah knows where every bone has gone throughout all regions and corners of the earth. He knows where it has scattered, where it has separated, and where it has decayed. We might see that the body has disappeared, there's no trace of it, but nothing disappears from Allah's perfect knowledge. And then the surah ends by bringing the heart back to Allah's greatness. He says, "So exalted is He in whose hand is the dominion of all things, and to Him you will be returned." Ibn Juzay mentions, they did not give Allah the reverence and estimation He truly deserves. Everyone who denies the resurrection does so only because of ignorance of Allah's power and majesty. And Allah reminds us in Surah Saffat, "Indeed your God is one, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and whatever is between them." Ibn Uthaymeen mentions this verse demonstrates the inseparable connection between Tawheed al-Uluhiyya, the oneness of worship, and Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the oneness of Allah's lordship. In his statement, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and whatever is between them, comes immediately after, indeed your God is one. It serves as evidence for his exclusive right to be worshipped. The reasoning is that if Allah alone is unique in his lordship, creation, ownership, provision, and management of all affairs, then it necessarily follows that he alone deserves worship. This is a recurring method in the Quran. Allah establishes his sole right to be worshipped by reminding people of his exclusive lordship. For example, Allah says, O mankind, worship your Lord, the one who created you and those before you. In other words, if he alone created you and created those who came before you, then how can you worship anyone besides him, when they neither created you nor created anyone else? Thus, Allah's unique lordship is a proof of his unique right to worship, and whoever acknowledges the former must logically affirm the latter. So as we walk away from today's episode, let's try to train ourselves to notice Allah's blessings. The Quran repeatedly asks us to look, reflect, and notice. So let's try not to rush through life on autopilot. Whether it's the food on our tables, our health, our family, our jobs, or even something as small as the water we drink, pause each day and remind yourself that this is a blessing from Allah, because reflection is the beginning of gratitude. We ask Allah the Almighty to make us among those who are truly grateful for His blessings, grant us hearts that submit to Him, and to not make us among those who oppose His guidance by following their desires. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.